Welcome to League of DC, a special episode, guys. It's a very special episode as we have got Mikey Sutton joining us today. Welcome, Lawrence, of course. Zod Rider, welcome on in. We got Batman, Dreamwalker, yes, of course, Dreamwalker. We got Lawrence as well. It's morphing time, yes. Before we actually bring on Mikey Sutton, we've got to bring our co-host on. So you guys know him as J Heat. He brings heat in J Heat. That is J Heat 75.
What's up?
Where's that? And he is Jared from Comics.
I love that intro.
Yes, welcome on in, Jared.
I
While
love
we wait
that.
for my,
What's up?
there's my boy Jared.
Yo,
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Yes, we felt bad for Jared. He just got burned. He got.
I mean, it was a fun discussion, but I had to practice so much self-control with that last stream. Oh
Yes.
my. And you could see me. I even did
Yeah.
this. I like rotate around the camera.
He couldn't contain himself.
I was like, ugh.
But while we wait for Mikey, guys, if you guys have got any questions in the chat about Dreamwalker, if you've got any questions about the Mikey verse or Geekosity, feel free to let me know in the chat, guys. As when Mikey does join, because he is on his way, he's DM'd me, told me that he will be on his way into the channel, and we'll be talking about this stuff because it's very exciting. Dreamwalker is is the biggest thing going. Dreamwalker is the most amazing thing happening in the Still Nation. And furthermore, we'll be discussing about the comic, what's the inspiration for it, what really came up with the ideas and stuff like that. So, like, that's what we're going to be talking about. But before we do that, guys, how's your week been?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good. A lot of reflecting because DC trolled us yet again, but I'm not going to talk about that now.
Warner Brothers got a Warner Brothers, dude.
You know what? We'll be talking about some things about the DCU stuff today. I'm sure of that. And guys in the chat, hopefully you guys are having a great weekend, wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is for you guys. Hopefully you guys are having an amazing day. So let's, while we wait, let's kick things off, shall we? And we'll talk about DC games because why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
For a bit because Mikey still isn't here yet. I'm still waiting for him. They need to replace Gunn and Saffron. Yes, we know they need to replace Gunn and Saffron.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and say it. For any
Go on.
anti-Snyders right there, first of all, say what you want about them just using Batman Returns. They went a little too far with Batman. I'll admit that. But the Snyderverse as a whole was not that bad. It really wasn't.
It wasn't that as dark as people pointed to be. BVS is the only one where I could see people having an argument.
BVS, full grimdark. No one's denouncing that, even with the Ultimate Edition.
My weekend hasn't been great. The DC, yeah, I can understand
I know.
that.
I know.
I can understand back then. I can understand. I ain't having an amazing day. Gunn lied to me like 4 times.
Well, here's the thing. What do you guys think? And I'm going to ask your audience, Taladio. What do you guys think the over/under is of this decision possibly getting reversed shortly, or James Gunn's plan not surviving past the first flop? Because we all know how Warner Brothers is. It's how we got in this situation.
It's crazy. For me, well, Batman says it's not hard to see a proper conclusion to the story I love. I wish it wouldn't that on any fan base.
But here's the thing, though. When you look at Zack Snyder's Justice League, how it ends, it wraps up a lot of the character arcs in a way where you could take it as kind of a conclusion. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want more, but only put this way: if you had to stick with for the Snyderverse, Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League, they tell a complete story.
It's a good quartet. It's a good quartet.
And Zodrider says Gunn had everything approved by Zavslov, so we already know the answer.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that if the stock keeps tanking, Zaslav's going to have to do something to reverse course, and it all started really tanking after Henry Cavill was announced that he's not going to be Superman.
People are saying that we're going to move on from Cavill.
We'll see.
We'll have to see. But I think my own personal thing is I'd have to agree with Zodrider here. Because I personally think that it's over because the Snyderverse essentially we were gonna get the Snyderverse through Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi because they were gonna have the Snyderverse restored essentially. And Man of Steel 2 was gonna happen. Brainiac was gonna be a thing, which we'll be talking about a bit later. And we're going to be talking about a lot of different things about that and how much of a big deal that is. Dave says if the first two films of this universe flop, James Gunn's would be scapegoat. They dropped Jeff Johns pretty quick too.
Exactly what I'm saying. If it's not successful right off the bat, if the first 5 films aren't successful,
Yeah,
I think that they'll be looking at buying out James Gunn's contract real quick.
I think
Mike-
I speak for. Go ahead.
Batman says my goal is not to get the Snyderverse restored to bring Gunn down with it.
Uh-huh.
But I think I
But
speak
for-
for Morgan.
But I feel like I get it, right? They want a fresh start. I understand it. But at this point, is there any reason for thing?
Just conclude it with one movie.
and-
That's it.
And guys, we got a special guest on. He's arrived. Without further ado, welcome Mr. Mikey Sutton from Geekosity.
Hey,
What's up?
thank you for having me on here today. My first time here.
Yes, welcome
Welcome.
to my channel. Welcome, welcome
Thank you.
indeed.
Thank you.
I
Good
planned this-
speaking.
I planned this for like about a couple of weeks now. Trying to organize this, and
Yeah.
we wanted to get you on, Mikey, to talk about Dreamwalker, talk about Geekosity,
Sure.
and so many different things, really. So, hope you don't mind. Can we talk about Dreamwalker because that
of
is your
course,
baby?
anytime. My pleasure. Oh, yeah. That's what I love talking about the most, especially, excuse me, right now with the debacle at DC going on right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a pleasant thing to talk about these days. Unlike a few months ago when DeLuca was the one in charge. We were all excited, right? We were all excited. And now somebody's pissing our cornflakes now, you know? So
So I have a couple of questions about
Sure,
Dreamwalker.
yeah, man.
So what was your first inspiration to Dreamwalker? Like
Mm.
what?
Goes back to 1991, actually. Very obscure inspiration for this character. I heard a song by this British band called the Candy Skins, a British alternative rock band,
Yeah.
called Submarine Song. And it had a line in the song that goes, "And I walk through your dreams." And I'm like, "Man, that's a cool power to have, even to walk through people's dreams." And it's just a throwaway line in a love song, but it caught my ear, and I'm like, man, what if I had the power to walk through people's dreams? Like, what would I do? And I was thinking, so I've had this idea for 31 years now. If a teenage girl had this idea, had this power, what would she do? I think she would steal things. Like, right, she steal like necklaces or cool, expensive stuff that people are dreaming about. And that was the original plan. And it's been in my mind all this time for decades. And originally, this was supposed to be a comedy, like a Japanese shoujo manga comedy. And I worked on it for about a year as a comedy. It just was not funny at all. There was just the jokes weren't landing, man. And I just, man, I can't write. Like, I can joke around on air, like in person, but
Yeah.
to sit down and write about comedy, it's very, very difficult to do. And so, Noel Leon Flores, my artist, about 2017, before I had my stroke, And he approached me and he goes, "Hey, um, why don't we work together for some one day? Because I put on my Facebook that I'm thinking about as Noelle there. Exactly, Noelle is exactly what she was. She steals. She was a thief, a dream thief, and that's what originally how it started. Um,
No.
and then so he messaged me, goes, "Why don't you and I work together?" And I was thinking of having him draw this dream thief book, and but I had a stroke. I had a stroke, and I nearly died. I was an hour away from dying. I was dying on the floor, actually. My
Right.
mom came home just in time to call 911. Um, but when I was in the hospital, I was told that I may never write again. Because I couldn't move my hands and I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk for 2 months.
Right.
Um, so the name Dream Walker had a certain significance because I learned how to walk before I started writing her. Um, like a little baby, like you learn how to walk. I mean, I went through training and everything to learn how to walk again. Um, and so 2018, around November, I was out of the hospital. I got out early. And I started to walk again. I had a walker though. I couldn't get up by myself. One day I was walking to the living room. My mom was watching a Filipino soap opera. I never watched Filipino soap operas. No way, man. Not my thing. But it was called Onanay, and which means dwarf mother. Um, and so when I was saying I saw Kay Valdez for the first time, she just stopped me in my tracks. Just like, who is this? I mean, I just thought she was extraordinarily beautiful lady. So I stopped and started watching it and realized this young lady can act. She can act really well. She was lost in her character. To me, the best acting are the actors who get lost in their character. You don't notice their acting
Right.
because what you see is their character, right? And I love her facial expressions, and so I was watching. I kept watching the show. Man, I'm liking this show. I'm gonna watch a soap opera now, right? So I posted her photo on Facebook without her name because you know, I didn't
Yeah.
really know who she was, right? So I posted her photo on there, and the person who messaged me was Noel, and in fact his comment is still there on my on my Facebook, and so he told me, goes, yeah, I actually know her. I worked on her show, and I had no idea Noel was even a visual designer for television. I had no idea who he was really
He
at
had
the time.
connections.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
best.
Kent was working for the biggest network in the Philippines, and he was working on Encantadia, which was a fantasy show that Kate was on,
Right.
which I had never seen because I didn't have her channel at the time. Um, and so he goes, "Hey, what about that comic book that you and I talked about a year ago?" I said, "Yeah, let's get to work on that." And I forgot something. He said, "Hey, do you want to interview her?" Because I had a different website at the time. Um,
Right. Yeah.
and I didn't have Geekosity yet. This was long before Geekosity. And I said, "Yeah, okay." And so he gave me the contact information of her handler. Within a week, I was talking to Kate. That's how quick it was. So I interviewed her. I called her the next big thing. Um, and I remember at the time, I was getting scoops of it. I was a secret scooper, okay? I was scooping anonymously on
Right.
different YouTube shows under different names. I just didn't really care, dude. Just like, yeah, whatever. It's just fun, right? Um,
Hmm.
and so in my article on her, I was told that Marvel Studios was casting Kate Bishop, and they wanted a Asian American to play the character, namely a Filipina. And I thought, Kate for Kate, right? So I said, "There's an actress named Kate Bald. I think she'd be perfect for Kate Bishop." And interestingly enough, they did cast a Filipina American as Haley Steinfeld, ended up getting the role. Um, but I was trying to get Kate to be Kate Bishop at first, and I remember I was talking to Kate, and I said, one day I'm going to turn you or into an international star, like a comic book, character, and I promised her that 2018. Actually, 4 years ago to this month is when I talked to her. Um, and then during our discussion, we were talking about TV shows that we liked, and she said, I really like Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix. She said, I really love that show. Like, oh, really? And I said, I've never seen it, right? And, I like Greg Berlanti stuff, but I just never watched it. I watched Riverdale, but I never watched Sabrina. So I started watching Sabrina, and it hit me. Why am I writing a comedy? I'll just turn it into horror because horror is my natural style. Um, and so I took the plot that I had, the script and everything. Um, I changed it all into horror. The only part I kept from the original is a part where she ate the shopao and then she spit it out because her brother said there might be shit in there because you don't know it's illogical because it's from somebody's dream, right?
Right.
And she said that was from the original script. Nothing else was left, right? Like in the original script, she did go into that boy's dream, but he wasn't chopping up his dad. Okay, it was a comedy sequence in the original, and so when I rewrote the story as horror, the script that I worked on for a year and couldn't get through, I finished it in a week. Um,
Wow.
and it,
That's impressive.
oh, thank you. Yeah, well, the inspiration hit me. So I was in my comfort zone because horror was where I had all the confidence in. Like, oh my god, this works perfectly for a horror style. And so instead of her becoming a thief, she's a superhero in a way. Because yeah, she does steal stuff, but she steals stuff to fight monsters and supernatural creatures and things like that. And even the original story, she had an Achilles heel, and that when the person that she's stealing the object from wakes up, it disappears. Um, and that was inspired by Spider-Man. In Spider-Man, when he would run out of organic web shooters, he'd be helpless. He didn't have his web shooter. So um, basically, I wanted to give her a weakness, since that was one weakness I immediately thought of. Is that okay? She's got a weapon, but you only have a limited time to use it. When that person who's dreaming of it wakes up, it's gone. So you better do something else. Um, and so in the first issue, she was trying to save that boy from the walk creature, and her weapon disappeared, and the bird took the kid and flew away. That's from Spider-Man. That's a total Spider-Man influence, where Spider-Man is trying to fight a villain and his web shooters run out. You know,
Yeah.
um, so that's how it all began. And Noel, just a brilliant artist. Um, the first time that I saw him draw Kate, it just blew me away. It looked like Kate Valdez, totally did. Um, it was like a picture, right? And so I posted it on my Facebook, and immediately Kate's network GMA contacted me and said, "Hey, I want to do an article on this comic book that you're working on." I'm like, "Yeah, great." I'm like, "Here I am in GMA network covering me for a comic book that's not even finished yet." Right? It's
Yeah.
like,
I saw a video of you.
yeah,
Somebody did an interview with you
yeah, yeah,
about
yeah,
Dream.
no,
I
yeah.
saw that on YouTube.
Oh, you saw that? Yeah, okay, yeah. That was,
I was very intrigued because
yeah,
I felt like Dreamwalker was like something new, something fresh, something which
yeah.
has never
Thank
been
you.
done before. And like I told the boys that I was having you on, and
Oh,
like
wow, awesome.
they were really interested, like asking questions about Dreamwalker. I told them
Yeah,
if you got any questions about Dreamwalker, or about the Mikeyverse, or even about Geekosity, they can ask
yeah,
you those questions. So
yeah.
I'll let these guys ask you some questions if they
Sure, yeah,
want
no
to.
problem. That'd be great. Yeah, thank you.
Well, let me be the first to say, big fan of the Dreamwalker series, and based on what you've
Awesome.
told me of your story, I think I speak for everyone where you're an inspiration and you have come a long way. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
And Jared.
So yeah, I have a question. So you mentioned Spider-Man, but are there any other like DC or Marvel characters that inspired you when you were writing this series?
Oh, definitely. The Sandman was a big one. I think it's
Okay,
pretty obvious. The Neil
yeah.
Gaiman influence is all over that book. Um, what I like about Sandman is him taking mythologies from different cultures
Hmm.
and putting them together. And I'm going to do that in this book as well, but I'm putting a twist on it. I'm going to start getting into the whole idea of ethnocentrism and prejudice
Mm.
among these different mythological creatures. They're not going to get along, especially when um, a species goes into their native into this country. Like, what are you doing here? This is our turf. You know what I mean? Um, I had that with the American vampires coming to the Philippines, where they have their own set of vampires called the Aswangs, and they're not going to get along. Um, and so I love playing on that twist there. Um, but Neil Gaiman is just well. Let me give you a little background on Neil Gaiman as far as I'm concerned. My first published work in America, first professional work, was in Amazing Heroes magazine, and I called Neil Gaiman the next big thing.
Oh.
That's back in '89. I'm still go way, way back, and here I am, like kind of following in his footsteps now. Um, but Swamp Thing was a big, big influence on me. Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. I think that kind of comes across in the first issue at the end with where that poor family and everything. Um, and Noel Leon Flores, my artist, one of his inspirations was Bernie Wrightson, who was a co-creator of Swamp Thing. That's one of his artistic inspirations. When he drew the monsters eating the people, that's totally Bernie Wrightson in my eyes. I can see the influence there. Um, so Swamp Thing was definitely an influence on me as well. A lot of DC Vertigo stuff, man. I grew up on that, like in college. I mean, that's what I was really into, and I wanted to bring back that feeling when I wrote Dreamwalker. Like, how do I kind of bring that kind of post-punk gothic type of feel those books had, and keeping up with Noel, who's very cinematic. I was able to really pull that off because when I wrote before, like when I wrote short stories, I was very wordy and everything. When I met Noel, like I don't have to like describe it, I just have him draw it. Like what am I doing? I don't need my words there, right? There's this man here that can visualize it. And if I don't put my words in there, it'll be her thoughts, basically. So you can get into her head. But everything else, I just have Noel, draw. I mean, it frees me up as well, where I can look at this as sort of a film, and it's very exciting to be able to write that. 'Cause I draw on Noel's energy. It's like in issue 2 when I had the 3 zombie schoolgirls. Um, Normally, how I would have written that would be like kind of slow. But since I knew Noel was drawing it, I'm like, no, they're gonna rip people's guts out. They're gonna rip their heads off. I mean, I want to see Noel draw this action, right, and make it very vivid on the page. Um, I learned from certain writer artists. Like it's funny because you don't realize it at the time. Well, I didn't. I didn't realize it when I read interviews about writers and artists. I didn't realize how their advice like stuck with me over the past couple of decades. Um, I remember reading about John Byrne, who was
Hmm.
artist on the X Men for a long time, Fantastic Four. He said, "Don't fill your pages with talking heads.
Uh,
Um, like every other page, have some kind of movement, some kind of action going, or the reader gets bored."
mhm.
And that stuck with me. And I'm like, you know what? He's right. And I have Noel here. He loves writing action scenes. So that's how I paced the book. I think of what John Byrne said a long time ago. Don't have static pages. Have something interesting in each page going forward. And so, um, but in terms of superheroes, another one that's kind of like you probably wouldn't expect is Green Lantern.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Interesting.
yeah, Hal Jordan is one of my favorite comic book heroes.
Hell yeah.
Um, Growing up, I wasn't into Superman and Batman as much. I was into Green Lantern, because I couldn't imagine him being rich, right? And I wouldn't
Mhm.
have Superman's powers, but I could imagine him finding a ring and wielding it. Like I could
Yeah.
imagine that, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
what I love about Green Lantern is that his real power is his imagination,
Mhm.
because the ring can create anything that he imagines, right? And
Mhm.
so with Dreamwalker, kind of the same thing where she goes into people's imaginations and takes things from them to fight these monsters. I mean, but really, it's up to her imagination, like how she's able to use that weapon against this creature, because she can see through like hundreds of people's dreams, and she's got to find that right weapon to fight these monsters with. And so, I feel that it's not just about her power; it's her intellect and her creativity and using those weapons. And so, yeah, Green Lantern was a big influence on Dreamwalker. You just don't expect it,
Hmm.
and another big influence, some people brought this up with me, they noticed, is the Spectre.
Oh.
Um, because she's becoming kind of a supernatural vigilante now.
Mhm.
Um, because in the second issue, when those three girls were abused by their father, I didn't want to have her sit idly by and not do anything. I mean, she's obviously profoundly hurt by what's going on. Um, and she kind of served some poetic justice there at the end. Um, I think the only difference would be the Spectre would like create like a giant scissor and tear him up to pieces,
Yeah.
right? He would do something like, instead of like throwing them to the zombie girls and have them do whatever they want with them, and pretty much they tear them to pieces. But yeah, but definitely a Spectre influence there as well. But it's funny, guys, because most of my influence, I'm known as a Marvel guy. I'm the MCU guy. He's a Marvel guy. He's not really a DC guy. So I still like to joke about that. But um, a lot of my influence is actually more DC than Marvel. So
Wow.
except for
Yeah, it
Spider
is
Man.
interesting.
So it's like when Mikey told me that he's a big Marvel guy. I didn't believe it at first. Uh,
Yeah, you seem like you're more of a DC
See
fan,
that.
dude.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm a big DC fan. Yeah.
I was
Um,
just like, I was just like, Mikey must be a DC guy, surely. He's like, no, no, I'm a Marvel guy. So it was mind blowing. And then when I found out that he was doing a book, and I was just like,
yeah.
oh, I gotta check this out. I gotta
Yeah.
see like any interviews have been done on the
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah.
And there was one, so I took it out and I said, look,
Yeah.
maybe I can see if I can get an interview done or some sort of thing where I can get you
Yeah.
on my show and talk
Yeah. That's
about
awesome.
Dream, Dreamwalker and talk about like how you can expand like what is like
Yeah.
your creativity for characters that you want to bring into the Mikey verse, so to say.
Yeah. Hold on just a minute. Hold on.
Yeah. So while we wait, for Mikey. If any of you guys in the chat do want to have any questions about this, about Dreamwalker, feel free to. But yeah, Mikey,
Down back.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, what would your inspirations like to bring people into the Mikey verse? Like, what?
Oh, that's a great question, actually, and it really kind of happened by accident. Um, and I was doing all these YouTube shows and everything, and I started looking at people's names, and they're kind of very interesting names like Necron and Skywalker with, you know, and
Yeah,
like, who are these people? Socks was one. Um, and I wanted to have supporting characters for Dreamwalker, and I also wanted to do spin-offs as well. Um, I also love the idea of playing with time. I was thinking of having some time travel in the book, but in a different way. It ended up, things evolve, right? Because
yeah,
Of course.
Dreamwalker can actually, she can time travel through people's minds. Because when we dream, we don't always dream of like some kind of stream of consciousness thing. Like I have dreams of memory, they're actually memories, right? And so I have that in the second issue where this isn't a dream, it's a memory, and they're dreaming of a memory. And so, but I did want to have some kind of period piece type stuff. So I was like, well, I can't have a story set in the 80s with her because she's young, right? Um, but I could have a story set in the 80s with other characters. Um, and that's where Sil Abdul comes in because being a vampire, he's immortal. Okay, he's gonna be around for a long time. Why don't I just do a prequel
to
with
the
Silver?
Mikeyverse.
And Mike ended up becoming, and all credit to Socks in the chat because he came up with the name Mikeyverse. And
Oh,
what
okay.
happened was I was uniting all these YouTube channels for Scoop Jams back then. I didn't know what to call it, and Socks called it the Mikeyverse. And I'm like, oh. And then all of a sudden it became part of the Dreamwalker thing as well. Um, but Syl was the first character from the YouTube angle that I turned into a character in the book. The other one was Tim Vo from Lords of the Long Box, who plays a sorcerer Tivo. Um, and they both have their own purposes, right? Because I wanted to play on the whole Doctor Strange angle. And I feel putting some magic in this book will make it like really kind of surreal and psychedelic and cool, right? Because she needs villains. I don't want to make the villains like her too much. I mean, Tuvo can bring out people's nightmares. He can't walk through people's dreams. He brings out their nightmares and makes them and brings them out to real life. And I think it'd be a good villain for her to have. Um, and so I introduced him, and Tivo looks exactly like Tivo, so which I thought was hilarious. Titus Noel just draws so perfectly how these people look like, in real life. Um, and so I thought, okay, I'll make because I wanted a vampire in the book, and I wanted to have a musical angle. 'Cause I'm really into music. My background is heavily into music, gothic rock, new wave, type of stuff from the '80s and alternative rock, grunge. I covered the Seattle scene late '80s and early '90s, so I was here. Um, so I thought, hey, I want to have like some kind of hip hop thing going on. So I decided to make Silver a rapper vampire because that's how he hides being a vampire. He's like, "Oh, I'm a rapper. I'm not a vampire. I'm a rapper."
That
It's all
that is
part of my
so
act,
cool.
right?
That is so cool.
Thank you, thank you. And I was like, well, then when you start thinking about, because Noel makes me think a lot. Noel, I know you're out there watching. Um, I start analyzing all the different, angles of the characters, right? And I'm like, okay, if there is a rapper, okay, that's been around since the '80s, and he hasn't changed his look. I mean, I don't care if you're Paul Rudd still looks the same as he did back in the '90s, but man, Silver looks exactly like oh god, that's a tough choice. Okay, Bauhaus, but Christian Death is great as well. um,
There you go, Dave.
um, and yeah, by the way, I was listening to Season Parties a lot. Anyway, so anyway, I felt that Silver, having been around for so long, um, even though he hides his vampire identity, and if he ever gets caught, he can just say it's part of my act, right? Um, I figured somebody would be on his scent. Somebody would be on his scent. Um, I met Zod Rider, and I'm like, Zod looks like a private detective to me. If I met Zod, I would say this dude is like a private detective or something. He's just got that look to him, right? And
Yeah,
when I see him interview people, Zod's one of the best interviewers I ever seen. Right? He just really asks you really detailed questions.
yeah. When he interviewed me the
Oh,
other
oh
week,
yeah, yeah. See how good he is? He's great,
yeah,
right?
it was pretty good. I was like, he asked me in-depth questions about like my background and in
There you
terms of like
go. There you
and
go.
he's a great interviewer. And guys, if you aren't following, subscribe to Zod Rider. What you guys doing? Make sure you do subscribe to Zod Rider. He's a great person,
Yeah, he's a really
and
good guy.
you'll have a great time watching his content as much as you watch mine. And
Yeah, Zod was just like the perfect character to start investigating all the supernatural phenomena, right? Um,
yeah,
and he goes to the Philippines and he realizes a lot more in that country than he ever experienced before in his life. And Zod, you'll find out soon enough that some of the things that you'll find out about, and he finds it about Dreamwalker as well. But he's there to chase Silver down. He's trying to bring this guy down. Like he knows this guy's a vampire for 36 years now. right?
Wow.
And so, um, as soon as I started writing Zod, everything just started to fall into place. Everything, um, and I realized that okay, I want to do the whole time travel period piece thing. Why didn't I set it back in 1986, right? Um, so there's a spin-off book called Silver and Gold, um, which has Syl in his younger days, and Zod's there. He's also immortal in a way. So I wanted to put a twist on everything, right?
Right.
So on South Park they have who they killed Kenny. Okay, I did the same thing with Zod. Um, and so every issue that Zod appeared, he's gonna die, but he's gonna come back over
Oh
and
my
over
gosh,
again.
that's good.
And what happens was when Zod was a child, he was given a blood transfusion, and his father thought he would get the blood of Christ. Instead, he got the blood of Lazarus. So he's constantly being
Oh,
That's
I
resurrected.
see. I
good.
see. I see what you did
That's
there with Lazarus.
good. Oh my gosh.
I see what you did there.
I told Zod this, and he was just laughing hysterically, right? I'm like, thank you, Zod.
Blood of Lazarus. That's so
Yeah,
good.
I agree.
So every time you see Zod, like he'll always die at the end of the book, always. But he'll come back. But he'll come back, and it's like, who killed Zod? You know, he's back again.
And Dan says that someone needs to Photoshop Zod Rider into that orange jacket.
There you go. There you go. And so I figured out who Zod was, and then all of a sudden I thought of Socks, and like, what kind of bad guy would Socks be? And all of a sudden I had this image of a guy with a giant sock over his head, with two holes, and I'm like, okay, I'll make this the sickest. Actually, I was watching the Batman with the Matt Reeves Batman. I thought the Riddler was lame, right? I'm like, this is not even a disturbing character. You want a disturbing character? I'll write you a disturbing character. The Socks is my response to the Riddler. Okay, and so okay, do you think that Riddler is disturbing? How about a guy that collects the socks of dead people? Okay, so
Oh jeez.
and so he he collects the socks of dead people, and he gets them slabbed like a comic book, right? Like a 9.8 grade
Oh
scale.
wow.
So there is something called the SGC, which is the Socks Guarantee Corporation.
Oh
So
jeez.
they grade his corpse socks, right? So he has socks from famous people that in his collection. He grades them all, and he's frustrated, guys. He's frustrated that he can't collect Zod's socks because Zod keeps coming back from the dead. He only collects from dead people. Okay. So when Socks first dies, like, yes, I can get his socks. All of a sudden Zod's back alive again. Well, now it's worthless because you're alive. So
Jeez.
it's just really insane. But I figured, okay, now this is a disturbing character, right? A guy who goes to mortuaries and steals socks. I mean, that's just creepy, right?
And you know what's funny? Socks has actually embraced the character as
Oh,
well.
he loves it. He loves
He
it. You
loves
know.
it. Like when you told him about it and he was mind blown, he just embraced it full on. He says, "I'm gonna take
Oh
your
yeah,
sock."
yeah.
Every stream that we're in, whether it's mine, Sills, whether it's Savage Bats, Trey's.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Savage Bat is because I wanted to play off Savage Bat's name,
Yeah,
but I didn't want him to be too close to Man Bat, which is also a great villain that I like. So I said, Savage Bat, I want to make you an albino bat, you know? and you're Sill's brother.
Genius. Genius.
Like, how did your dad, who's black, gave birth to an albino bat? Oh, dad was into some freaky shit. So,
Good.
it's gonna be in there, and then Skywalker. I didn't like. I'm just gonna call him Sky because I don't want to get any Lucasfilm trouble.
yeah,
Oh,
that's fun.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So his name is Sky, and I'm like, you know what? But I still want to use the whole Star Wars angle. So I decided, I'll make him be like Darth Maul with 6 arms, right? And each arm has like a weapon. um, and make him bring a very scary alien type of creature. Like all of a sudden, I'm sci-fi now, right? So, and what's cool about this, guys, is that in the spin-offs, I can do any genre I want to because these guys can be in any genre. Because Sky will take me into sci-fi, Zod can take me into Pulp Fiction, Socks can get me into like psychological horror. There's always so many things that I can do with this book, and the whole Monkey verse was born from there on in because, like, wow, I got spin-offs galore I can do here. Um, so I'm planning on giving these characters their own books and their own, storylines in the future. Once I get everything set together. Let's not forget Necron. Now, Necron, um, he is an alien born from an ice planet. Um, he can give people any disease. Each of his fingers has a disease that they can give to people, which again, it's just a really creepy power to have. Um, and so I just wanted to go all out and, like, you know what? No one's like telling me what to do. I have complete freedom with this book, so I'm just gonna go fucking nuts, man. I'm just gonna like,
Might as well.
why hold
You
that?
might you might as well. And plus, you know what intrigues me about your story
Yeah.
is the fact that each individual character has its own unique superpower.
Yes. Very
And
important. Yeah.
and that's what I find so interesting about Dreamwalker. That's why, like, I tell the boys all the time, Dreamwalker is the most impressive thing I've seen in
Thank
a
you.
long time.
Well, you know what? I'm not sure if you announced it already, but you're in the comic too. You're coming.
Yeah, I remember you telling me I'm in the
Yeah.
comic book. It was on my birthday. I think it was on my birthday or something, and you told me
Yeah.
you
Yeah. I
did
think it
that,
was. Yeah.
and I was just like, what? It's kind of crazy. So
Here's the thing, though. It's a good time to start a comic with everyone being angry at Marvel and DC. So it's actually,
There you go.
it's actually a
There you go.
fantastic
Right,
time
exactly.
to launch an indie comic.
It's funny because it's like, well, forget the DC universe now. I'm in the Mikey verse now. Because
Yeah,
I'm just
Dreamwalker
exactly.
is life,
Restore
burned
the
out.
Mikey verse.
and as God Rider says, Dreamwalker is life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you,
Oh,
Zod.
jeez.
Yeah, Zod's fun to write, man. He is so much fun to write, and he's never cold, and so there are those really interesting things, little quirks. I want to have in some of the characters in there, and you'll find out why they feel that way.
And
Um,
Batman asks, have you got any details you can provide about me?
I will soon. I will soon. But I just want to keep certain things secret, though. I
Yeah,
got a lot of
100%.
surprises for you, man.
Yeah,
I got real
I,
plans for your character.
I'm very excited for that.
Because
Very,
you're
very
gonna play a
excited.
huge role in Zod's book. That I'm planning on the side. There's just so much.
So you're telling me I now co-host with a real life comic book character?
Yeah, you are. You are.
Awesome.
Yeah. And he'll be drawn the way he looks too. Like, I want to keep it faithful to the how people really
Sweet.
are.
So that looks amazing.
Congrats
man.
to Ladia. Congrats.
Thanks. If it wasn't for Mikey, it's all credit goes to Mikey with his genius brain.
Thank
Guys,
you.
honestly.
Yeah.
And it's like, like I said, his Dreamwalker book is something out of this world, right?
Thank you.
And a lot of people don't realize that you're doing this from the ground up.
Yeah, it is. I financed the entire book myself. Like, no, got
So,
help from no one.
so it's like it's a crazy thing, and I can't believe I'm in the book, but I'm also like, when I hear like Sox is a villain, and when I hear about, like, Savage Bat is like a bat, an actual bat, and it's like, I'm just
Well,
like,
you're at issue 6, so I mean, look, you're coming up. So, issue 3, I'm finishing your script right now. I'm more than
Yeah.
halfway done. Issue 6, everybody's in that book. That book is insane. Because
yes,
issue 6, all of you are in Silver's dream. The most of the story takes place in his dream, where Sil is Conan the Barbarian.
Oh,
oh,
that's awesome.
That's gonna be a battle.
that is gonna be amazing. I can't wait to
Thank you.
dive into that and tell people
Well,
about it.
it's funny because I write this, I'm like, man, I'm just not in the mood to write for Geekosity. You know what I mean? This
Yeah.
is so much more fun. I'm like, should I write about Ezra Miller again and again?
Yeah.
I mean, he just
Yeah.
keeps.
I mean, it's
He's the
like the
gift
same.
that keeps on giving.
Oh, I know, seriously.
I
Like
mean,
I can't write about Amber Heard anymore. I'm done. That's it. I'll have my other writers do it. You guys write about Amber? Go ahead.
I mean, everyone's wants this question answered,
Yeah.
which is, what is the future of the Mikeyverse?
Well, there are things I can't talk about right now, but mainly it's the main comic book is going strong. Issue 3 is coming out, but I'm really excited about two is the spin-offs that are coming out. Silver and Gold is the first spin-off that's going to come out after. There's 6 issue story arcs that I'm doing, right. So after number 6 comes out, um, we're gonna get work on the spin-offs, and Silver and Gold is the first one. But what I'm
Okay.
planning on doing, though, I'm planning on releasing an anthology series, which has different stories in there. Um, and I'm gonna get some people I know to contribute, stories, in that anthology. And Noel and I have talked about doing our own kind of version of Heavy Metal magazine, um, which has all these different adult stories in there. I mean,
Yeah.
the anthology is going to be different than Dreamwalker. It's very adult. It's a lot more adult than Dreamwalker, which is pretty gory, but this is a totally different level here. And because Silver and Gold, it's going to be foul mouth. It's going to be F bombs flying all over the
Oh,
place.
jeez. So it's gonna be like Peacemaker.
No, not God.
Only
No,
better?
nothing like Peacemaker. Nothing
More like
Peacemaker.
Quentin Tarantino type of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Reservoir Dogs, I think, is a great. Imagine Reservoir Dogs with aliens and vampires. Yeah, there you go.
That works.
That works.
Yeah,
That works.
everyone in the chat likes the idea, Mikey. Zod Riders
Thank you,
sucks.
thank you. That's great.
And I'm looking forward to it. Like once it's done, I'll be sure to promote it.
Well, yeah,
You know.
and when issue 6 comes out, like I want to do a stream with all the characters that are in the book, like Zod and Sox, and we all can just have a laugh and put them all together in a panel and say, all of you guys are in the comic book in that issue. All of you are in issue 6. I think that would be insane.
I mean, as a Brit, obviously I would love like to do digital versions of the comic because I
Well,
love picking
yeah,
up digital.
exactly. Yeah, Noel and I are talking about that now. Yeah, we're planning on having digital versions of these books because a lot of people overseas they really want copies and expensive. The postage
Yeah,
is very pricey, no matter who you ask. I think it would be great that, and I think it'll blow up the following even more, and people can like get a taste test of this book. I'm like, hey, I want this, but it's very difficult, guys, because we have people in Cuba, in England, in Canada who are wanting a copy of this. Like, they want to read it, but like Second Skin. Um, I own the company, but I have people who do all the mailing for me. The postage is insane. You're talking like
Are
$100.
you campaigning for
Yeah.
trade paperbacks anytime soon?
Yeah, we are actually after issue 6. We're gonna compile them all in a trade. Um, at that point, I'm gonna talk to Diamond Distribution about getting the book distributed. Because we didn't do it this time around. Um, because I was really in a hurry to get the first issue out, and Diamond would have taken a couple of months to go through the process. Um, so after issue 6, we're gonna put the trade up for Diamond Distribution, so it'll be available all over the world. But also the digital format will come first, though, for that.
and Super Pro
Okay,
Corey says
thank you.
Dreamwalker is the
Thank you.
Super Pro Corey goes. Dreamwalker is the best comic out
Thank
right
you.
now. Beautiful writing and Noel's artwork is amazing.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
looking
yeah,
at it
Noel just
right
blows me
now.
away.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the preview right now, and the art is really good.
I
Yeah.
have actually put a link in the description, guys, to
Oh,
check
thank
out
you, thank you.
Mikey's stuff, which is not only Geekosity, but I've also put a link to if you want to get your copy of Dreamwalker. That all that stuff is in the description. So make sure you guys do check them all the links out. Support Mikey, what he does. He's an amazing person,
Thank
guys.
you.
So you guys do, please, please, I urge you guys to support him as much as you guys support me.
Thank you so much. And also, issue 3 is dedicated to Zack Snyder.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just really saddened by a lot of the decisions that have been made at DC lately. It's really
Yeah,
unfortunate.
I can tell. Like it's been like a mourning
Oh yeah, it is.
season. It is. It definitely has. Like after this week, I was just really bummed out. Like when what you sent me in DMs, I was really bummed out by that. I was just
Yeah.
like,
Well, yeah. I mean, when the news dropped, I mean, it's. I was at a Zoom conference with Kate Valdez that same day that dropped, and it actually like took my mind away from all this stuff, and we're just having laughing the whole time about other things, and so I was able to escape from all this depression that was going on. It's just then you get back to Geekossi, you have to write about it. It's just depressing to write about, and that was really upsetting too, guys. Is when I think the saddest scoop confirmed I ever had was when it was confirmed that Brainiac was the villain for Man of Steel 2, which we will never see. Um, Produced by Zack Snyder's often co-producer Charles Roven, and written by the guy who did Peaky Blinders, Stephen Knight. Like, how can you not greenlight that movie?
Yeah.
that
How
It's
can
a
you not?
shame.
that
It's a shame.
that mind
Warner
boggling.
Brothers has got a Warner Brothers, so
Oh my God!
It's like the Henry Cavill Superman situation. And like
Yeah.
I'm just like really bummed out by that. And now it's like, what other? I mean, can they salvage Brainiac? Possibly, but I don't think they will.
But
Though,
here's
will
the
they?
thing. I think that after the backlash they've been getting, I'm wondering at what point do they decide, okay, you know what, we'll do one more movie and like say goodbye to all these people because we know people are freaking pissed off.
They are pissed off.
It's not
and
just Snyder fans anymore either. It's like everyone.
everyone is pissed off. Thing is, when the people who don't like Snyder, they like Cavill though. They
Yeah.
love the cast.
That
It's a
he
great cast.
casted. Like this way, if it were not for Zack Snyder, Jason Momoa would not be Aquaman.
Oh yeah, exactly. And so here's the thing. Okay, Sil scooped this. I had to corroborate him. This sounds really bad, guys. This sounds really bad. The villain that they are rumored for Guns. I can't call it Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man of Tissue. I mean, it's just anyway. You guys went from possibly having Brainiac, and written by Peaky Blinders writer, produced by
Sorry,
Charles
there we go.
Roven, produced Man of Steel, right?
Yeah.
Instead of that, you're gonna get James Gunn writing a young Superman film with Mr. Mxyzptlk.
Are you kidding me? They're starting with Mixel.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
Mixel. That's who they rumored, and I still was the
Oh,
first one who
God.
scooped it.
Okay.
Dude, seriously.
Gee, take it away because this is ridiculous.
This is just stupid. Like, who does Mr.
First,
Mr.
also, how many young Superman stories have we gotten in the
Too
past?
many.
Like,
Too many.
every single story is a
Yeah.
young Superman movie.
Yep, exactly.
At the moment, Lawrence?
Either
it's a
do
rumor,
Legion
so-
or don't. That's all I'm gonna say. Either do Legion, where Superboy is a factor. Clark Kent, as a teenager,
Yeah,
did join the
yeah.
Legion for a time. So either
Yeah.
so if you're gonna do that, just do a Legion of superhero movies or don't.
Don't.
just-
I mean, if
I
if
got
you're-
this bad feeling. If James Gunn, instead of doing the Legion of Superheroes, he's gonna do the Legion of Substitute Heroes and have
Mhm.
Polar Boy in there. And who's that rock dude? I can't remember what his name was.
Bouncing Boy,
But once again, I think that with Warner Brothers being strapped for cash, if these movies don't come out and be a hit, which with the Superman,
Yeah.
if what you're saying is true, it's like, I honestly think that Zaslav's gonna go get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Well, he's got one shot at this, and I bring this up. It's like, okay, you're doing a reboot. What if the reboot flops?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, will the audience be there for your third reboot? No, they're not. You
No.
might as
You
well kill the
had
whole franchise.
perfect cast that people, for the most part, people liked who Zach cast in
Yeah.
the roles, short of Ezra
Very
Miller,
solid
but
casting. Very solid casting.
very solid. And you said no. Yeah, granted, I know Warner Brothers strapped for cash, but they will make up for it if you have a good movie.
Well, here's what I'm hearing, guys, and I have not dropped this anywhere yet. So you're the first. It's my first time here.
Ooh,
Might as well
oh,
drop
sweet.
one on you.
All
exclusive.
right.
I wish it was good news though.
Oh,
Part of the game. Part of the game.
Don't tease us like that, Mikey. Don't tease us like that.
It's just, I'm sure you're prepared now for all the crap that's about to come.
Yeah.
don't worry, I'm prepared.
Yeah. So I am hearing that they're gonna go young all the way through the line.
yeah.
So basically, well, when I first heard about this young Superman, the first thing I thought of, okay, is Clark Kent moving to Metropolis from Smallville, right? That's what the film's about.
Yeah.
It won't have his origin. It'll be his first year in Metropolis. So I'm thinking this Smallville season 11 is what this is.
Literally.
Pretty much.
And his first year, he encounters Mixolydic. What?
Yeah.
Wait a second here. This
Like,
doesn't line up.
you guys want to see this?
No.
No.
Honestly,
No.
if I have to choose between Brainiac and Brainiac Invasion and Mixolydic, I'll pick the Brainiac Invasion. Here's the thing. Mixolydic is a character you can't do in live action because he looks freaking stupid.
He does. You know, and I
Always
said,
gonna
guys,
laugh at you.
did you guys watch
This
the
is
last
not-
season of Supergirl? Oh my god, it was torture, right?
Yeah.
I stopped watching all that CW BS. a
Oh
long
my
time
God.
ago.
The whole season was Mixie and his
He
sister
was
or
only
something.
in 2 episodes. He was only
Yeah,
in 2
yeah.
episodes.
But it's all fifth dimensional imps, you know, the whole year, and I'm like, I don't want to watch this
Jeez.
again.
Just stop.
And so his Batman will be in his 20s as well. You're gonna see basically a Generation Z cast. You guys ready? You guys want to see this because it's basically
God.
it's guns doing a CW on the DCU.
Oh God! So he's CWing the movies
Yeah,
now?
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
God!
oh yeah. But it'll have Starkey humor though, right?
Ironically, this sounds like something James Gunn would do. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my
he would.
Like,
God.
why? I mean, if you're gonna do a young Superman, there's so many different comics you could adapt from.
Or
Secret Origin is a one.
Yeah,
Earth one. Another one you could do.
yeah.
here's an idea: don't do the young Superman story.
Yeah,
We've done this already.
Yeah. I mean, they
I
don't.
think all it is James Gunn has been working on a Superman script for a long time, and now he has the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
thanks a lot, dude. You just screwed everyone. Where we could have had Henry Cavill fighting Brainiac.
yeah, and I think it's what's even worse is that it's also gonna affect DC games going forward.
Oh, that's right. I
gosh.
didn't think about that.
Mikey,
Oh, boy.
huge fan, but what you just described to me was some goddamn fan fiction.
Yeah, we call it
Hey,
bourbon.
hey, would it be
Call that
any
bourbon.
different than what's coming out of DC Comics? Really?
No, it's the comics that you can get away with a lot more in the comics than you can get away with live action. Like based on what Mikey described here, I might as well just watch Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer again. At least
Or
we got
Fan Four Stick. Or Fan Four Stick.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He did not want
Yeah.
to. He said before, I'm not doing a Superman film. Well,
Yeah,
there goes that.
he said that on Twitter as well.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
back in March.
Yeah.
He said I'm not interested in doing A-list characters in movies,
Well, apparently now you are.
and now you are, and I'm just like, now you're going back on your word. It's
Yeah, he's a liar. He said he wouldn't lie to his fans. Well, no, he did.
he
Um,
straight up did.
Yeah, Walter Hamada offered him Superman before the Suicide Squad. He chose Suicide Squad instead. But they offered him
That's what
Superman.
made, if you
and
ask
he,
me.
and he said no.
Yeah, so people are saying Gunn is lied to them, and yeah, I think they're gonna backtrack. I really think.
I honestly think they're gonna back because here's the thing. Yeah, because if it were just the Snyder fans who were upset, yeah, I could see them just staying the course. But you literally, I have never seen any. I haven't seen a single social media post of people saying, "I'm glad Henry Cavill's not Superman anymore." Most people are saying,
Good point.
most people are saying, at least keep Henry. The dude loves Superman, and you just threw him out.
I mean, it was like 2 months, like since he
2
announced
months.
it. Yeah,
2 months.
because remember when Black Adam came out in October 21st, a weekend later, he said that he's back for Superman.
I remember the internet
Yeah.
reaction to that.
Yeah, it blew
People
up the
are-
internet. And
Well, what's really unfortunate is that DeLuca, who is the co-chairperson of Warner Brothers Pictures Group, was ready to move forward with Cavill, ready to move forward with Ben Affleck, all these people. And then Gunn came in and goes, nope. And he convinced Zaslav that going cheap is the way to go, and going young is the way to go.
They're gonna have Wonder Woman has a TikTok account. She's a social
Oh,
media
I'm sure you'll.
influencer.
Hey, Clark Kent will probably have a TikTok account.
The Flash is gonna be
I
a
mean,
fitness
Well,
influencer. He can be like, I'm over here getting my gains.
Yeah, God, no, man. Oh my
No,
God.
I'm like,
and
oh no.
Tevye, I don't know about J.J. Abrams' Superman movie. I don't know about that.
Oh, that I
situation.
think that's gonna be gone.
That's gonna be
Yeah,
gone.
they're gonna shelve that. That's gonna be in development hell for about a year or two, and then they're just gonna shelve.
Finish the
Well,
script.
once
Yeah,
again,
how
I
many
mean,
years
I'm
now?
waiting until we see a little, because in January we're supposed to be getting more information on Gunn's like slate.
Next
Can
month.
you imagine if the same reaction comes when we see a slate where they're like, "Are you kidding me? This is dumb."
It's dumb.
It's dumb.
It-
But can you imagine the general audience rejects just to look at the slate? Oh my gosh.
I mean, the whole 2023 slate is fucked.
Oh yeah,
Because
it is.
why do I care about the? I'll still go see them because I'm a DC fan. But why would the general audience care about this if the Flash be the cryptocurrency? Oh my
I
God.
can see it. I can see
I
it.
can see it. You know.
Yeah, I
You-
can so see
oh
it.
God, no.
Oh,
Baby Diana, friends.
Well, she's basically Wonder Girl, right? That's exactly what they're gonna do. They're gonna Wonder Girl her.
yeah, Clark Kent will have a YouTube channel like this.
Oh,
Where
yeah, he has to. He has to.
Well,
You know-
technically, Clark is a reporter, so he's got to have something.
Yeah, him and Jimmy Olsen on YouTube. A little YouTube.
Bruce Wayne will be an emo goth kid with the hair going over the eye
Oh
slightly.
no!
Isn't
Well-
that what Bad Pattinson is?
That's kind of what Pattinson is.
But I think Batman's a little bit older though.
Yeah, he's-
Here's what concerns me, guys, about the Superman film. It's gonna suck. Okay, there's no way his Superman's gonna be
Yeah.
good. It's gonna suck.
It's gonna, yeah, that's a given because it's
what
not Henry
concern-
Cavill.
What concerns me is that they're not gonna get an unknown to play Clark Kent. They're gonna find the hottest kid star right now to make sure this film makes money, and then people, these young girls are gonna go see the film, man, because that actor is in it, and it's gonna make money because of that. That's what concerns me.
If Amazing Spider-Man was anything to go by, the pretty boy factor alone can only do so much.
You're right. Good point. Good point with that. Thank you.
I'd also
Yeah,
argue
sometimes it
Twilight
doesn't
that's a separate
matter.
conversation.
Oftentimes it doesn't matter who's in the movie. If the movie's bad, the movie's bad.
Yeah, but what if the critics like it? The critics like James Gunn. You notice that they
The
like this.
critics
Yeah.
act like every single Marvel movie is the coming of Jesus Christ. I'm like, whoa, come on. They gave Thor: Love and Thunder a high review, so that should tell you everything you have to know about the critics.
Good point. Good point.
I mean,
What the hell?
it's crazy. It's crazy to think the critics are Marvel fanboys, and
Or they're just bought shills. Let's
Or
just
they're-
call
I
it
think
what
they're
it is.
shills, honestly. All these
Uh,
influencers who get paid to like go to all the events, and I'm like, oh, I love these Marvel movies. Sure, you do, because they pay you, so you can go to all these events.
Sock Bulletins makes a good point.
Yeah.
He makes
yeah,
a good
pretty
point.
much-
Yeah,
they did the same thing when after Christopher Reeves, it was the same thing where nobody could fit that role.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, who
I remember
could
that.
fit that role when?
I remember that.
And people compared Brandon Routh.
He was actually a pretty good Superman with what he was given.
he was a
even in-
decent Superman, even though the movie sucked.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? He was. It placed in a very uncomfortable position. I actually liked him more now. I think he's aged good enough to be Superman now than he was back then.
And
My
Francie wants to
I
know.
hope they don't cast Austin Butler as Superman because
Oh God.
because
They
people are gonna
cast the
go see it
entire
just to see
cast of.
him.
They put the entire cast of Riverdale as the Justice League because they gave them
Oh
superpowers in the
no,
show.
no,
There you
I
go.
can see it.
There you go.
I can see it.
no. Francie
You
in the
see,
chat.
no. Here's my point. The CW is like a mold that keeps growing back.
Get him out. Palladium, get him out.
I said it's like a mold that keeps
No.
coming back. What are you looking? What are you
Fine.
angry at me
He's
for?
fine. He's fine for now. Frank C in the chat says, Mikey, any word on how WBD is reacting to all this backlash behind the scenes?
You know what? It's exclusive for you because I haven't been on YouTube lately talking about this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard there was some turmoil behind the scenes. I heard that Mike DeLuca's not happy right now.
You should
Um,
be.
because basically none of his ideas are being taken now. And this guy is the co-chairman of Warner Brothers Pictures Group,
Mhm.
and basically they trashed everything that he had. I don't know if Constantine 2 is going to go through. I really don't.
Doubt it. Doubt it.
I doubt it as well
That's gonna
because
suck.
what DeLuca wanted was to have Justice League Dark spin off from Constantine, and I don't see it happening now.
Can we
I
have
just don't.
DeLuca in charge of DC? He clearly knows what he's doing.
He is.
Please.
No, he is. He wanted Snyderverse to come back. He wanted Justice
But
League
can't
Dark.
he just do that? And if he's like the overseer of even James Gunn, can he just say do this if it doesn't work?
Yeah, theoretically speaking, he could, but apparently, they're betting everything on Gunn right now and letting him
Yeah,
do his
Gunn is going
job.
to be the de facto scapegoat because they really want
Yep.
this reboot. They want to distinguish from all the not diversity,
Yeah.
division. That's
Division, yeah.
that division that everything that Snyderverse ultimately caused. And if it flops, Gunn's a scapegoat. It's a pretty classic business strategy.
It is. You're right. And the thing is, Zaza doesn't like layers, right? So right now, it's all about Gunn and Saffron now. Hey, if they stumble, it's their fault. So
And Batman's asking your opinion on the backlash stock prices give DeLuca more power.
Yeah, because they've been tanking.
okay, now see there's some rays of hope in all this. Okay, that's one of them. My question has been this, and no one seems to be able to give me. People on the inside have been able to give me a good answer on this one. What if the Flash and Aquaman do really well? Right?
Yeah, that's a good. What if what if they both make $1 billion? Because what we've been hearing,
Exactly.
what you've been hearing, it's been very like vocal that the Flash is apparently a masterpiece. So what happens if it does really well?
Yeah. What if it does 800 million or so? Right?
You have Michael Keaton in a DC movie playing
Yeah.
Batman. I'm pretty sure this is going to do well.
Well, yeah, and again, the whole critics thing, right? Where the critics love these movies, right?
Yeah.
Aquaman
If
did
we
$1
get the
billion.
critics and the fans on board, what are you going to do?
I know what you're gonna do. So how can you reboot a franchise that just made $2 billion for you?
Once again, this is Warner Brothers we're talking about. I know it's
Exactly.
a different regime. I know it's a different regime, but really, it's the same. It's the same sort of paint right now.
You're right.
Exactly.
It's working on Warner Brothers, brother.
It depends on whether or not they want to copy Marvel.
Yeah.
Because I don't really take like what The Rock says too much into account. I respect The Rock during his wrestling career, but since he became an actor, not so much. But that's a separate conversation. But to make it a long story short, it just depends how far they want to copy Marvel. It really does. I would suggest them do their own thing because at least you have something unique on the table. But hey, Marvel made the formula, so.
Actually, I have a question. What do you think the odds are that because of all this stuff, they end up like at least saying we'll do one more movie to end this just so we can get people off our back, and then we'll just move on with our reboot.
Well, you know what? There is a loophole in all of this, and I don't think people are talking about it enough. Is that the Flash opens up the multiverse?
Yeah, so it's still there.
It's still there. So that world is still there. I mean, you could theoretically create a self-contained movie that's not tied in with this plan. and have all those characters in there. If the Flash does really well, there is that possibility, and because no studio is stupid enough to throw everything away when you have two movies that just made $1 billion for you, or 800 million even for
Well,
you.
this is Warner Brothers, so
But
once
it's
again,
Warner
I
Brothers.
refer to my previous point.
Anybody but Warner, right? Anybody but Warner. Even Sony's not that dumb, right?
Well, Sony's dumb for
They're pretty
making
dumb,
solo
though.
movies about Spider-Man villains without Spider-Man.
Yeah,
so-
that's pretty dumb.
A lot of that was spite because Andrew Garfield failed to show up at the announcement conference. At least from the sources I heard, he had a party the night before and he
Yeah.
overslept. But
But,
a lot of that was
But,
spite.
dude, El Muerto. Why is El Muerto getting a movie? Why is Craven the Hunter getting a movie before a Spider-Man
No,
movie?
no, check this out, guys. So a year ago, I made a joke in Geekosity. I said, "Don't worry, guys. The Hypno Hustler is not going to get his own movie. It's
Oh
a
my
joke."
God.
And what came out? The Hypno Hustler is
Oh,
getting his own
geez.
movie with Donald Glover, right? The cast. It's the Hypno Hustler. It was a joke. I think Sony, I was kidding.
Back then, I'd say yes. I would say yes to this
Watch
comment.
these movies because here's the thing: if they do well,
Yeah.
that puts a little more like back behind. Maybe we shouldn't reboot just yet.
You
I've
know,
been telling people forever: do not boycott these movies because otherwise, they will take it all away. You will nuke the universe.
yeah.
And
Super
a quick
quick, what
side
is it?
trend to Black Adam. Black Adam had a pretty generic story, and it's technically is the last film of the Hamada regime, since Hamada
Yeah.
was still credited for that film.
Yeah.
But what really dragged that film down was how generic it was. If it was a JSA film and Black Adam was one of the antagonists, it would have
Yeah.
done a lot better.
You know, good point. Good point. Yeah. The thing was, okay, I gotta change my perspective on the Flash and Aquaman now, Aquaman 2, because initially when all this came down, I was very cynical, I was very bitter, and I was like, oh, boycott everything. But I'm thinking, the more I thought about it, you know what? Why not? You know, let's get crazy. Let's get really crazy. You know what I mean? Why not make them hits? Make them hits. Because if you do, the shareholders will be like, wait a minute, why are we throwing this away?
Yeah, you're going away from what's clearly making us money.
Exactly.
It was-
Exactly.
Here's the thing: the problem with Warner Brothers, it wasn't the Snyderverse that the fans were rejecting. They were rejecting the Warner Brothers regime's like plan to put a bunch of C and D tier characters up front instead of the Justice League.
Yeah.
But
Well-
apparently, because they cut out Henry Cavill and Gal's
They,
Flash,
they didn't cut Gal out. That was refuted.
that was refuted. Okay.
Yeah, Gal is still in the.
She's not. She's in the opening scenes, right? She's in the beginning of the
Yeah,
film.
she's in the opening, so there's no reason to take her out either way.
Exactly. So, but that film is still set in that timeline though. So I'm thinking maybe we should go see these films and just throw throw a monkey wrench in there, because right now Gunn wants those. He just wants to burn those films, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just junk them. And it reminded me of what Disney did to Dark Phoenix and New Mutants. They
Yeah,
didn't want
Yeah.
to release them, but they had no choice, right? So they just put them out there with no promotion. Yeah, go ahead and watch them. You know,
Hey, Batman.
and because they knew they were going to reboot, so go ahead and but these are good films apparently, right? Unlike those other two, these are apparently good films.
yeah, and plus you also have Shazam too. All three of the movies coming out in 2023, I've heard, are actually really good. So,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
I think I speak for everyone when I say the last thing we don't want is a repeat of the sequel trilogy, where it's just a young cast and the story is not even. I'm not even going to go into that mystery.
And
box.
we're called a bunch of phobes if we don't like it. We'll have
And-
another
and
moment.
there's no
My name is
plan.
Diana Kent. I'm like, oh god damn it.
Are you?
Wait,
are you
Diana
guys,
Kent, you prefer Super Wonder? Why are you
No,
complaining?
but I'm just
Jared?
saying, no. They'll make it so she was secretly like Clark Kent's sister or something like that. Or
Yeah.
no, I'm trying to make a joke about Ray freaking Skywalker, J Heat.
So what's gonna happen to to this plan. When WBD wakes up in the morning and sees the box office results, and like, wow, the Flash is doing really well.
Like,
It's
push that
possible
plan
they're just
out.
going to get dumped on HBO Max out of spite. I agree with Dave.
Yeah, they could have just done that.
Or they just write them off as tax write-offs.
I think it's one or the other, really.
They're coming out. They're definitely coming out. I think Gunn is probably worried they're going to do well.
And if
Yeah,
he
because
does
if
well,
they do well, then his plans it gets at best delayed. At worst, they say rework your plan.
Yeah, there are ways that we can change the narrative, guys, because there's a multiverse, right? So they could do self-contained movies with those Snyderverse actors, right?
Plus, I know we've established that James Gunn has lied, but he did say part of his plan is also having movies that aren't connected to the main thing going
There
forward.
you go. There you go.
Nothing wrong with standalone movies. As
Would it
long
be
as they're
hilarious
good.
if his universe tanks and then let's say they do a Justice League Part 2 with with the original cast and it makes like $1 billion? Won't he look like an idiot?
it definitely. I see the Flash making more money than what James.
I think the
Gunn
Flash is going to do very well because you have all the people that are nostalgic for Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Why do you
That's
think he
a
was in all
good
the
point, yeah.
trailers?
And Ben Affleck's still in the film, so
Yes, my
Ben
boy
Ben
is still in the film, baby.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see the Flash for Batman.
Yeah, I'm going to see it for the Batman as well. Yeah, not Robert Pattinson's Batman, the Batman, the
The
Batman.
Batman. You know.
That's
Yeah.
and here's the thing. All we want is the proper conclusion, like maybe a Justice League movie to wrap it up. Darkseid invades, they beat him. That's it.
Yeah.
We don't want to just leave it on a cliffhanger. Oh gosh, no,
No.
no.
Is there a ban button on this thing?
You're not
What
modding my chat.
about Shazam? Just support Shazam. Come on.
Nicholas Cage is too
Well, isn't Gal Gadot's in Shazam, right? She's
Yeah,
in
she's
there.
in Shazam.
Did they keep her in there? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
I don't
what they-
know.
well,
I mean,
you know,
Flash will support it.
that
Yes.
Peter Safran produced that movie, so that's definitely coming out.
Mhm.
But here's the other question I have.
Go on.
Okay, so Gunn's doing a reboot. Does that mean John Cena's no longer a Peacemaker? Does that mean everything?
Yeah,
I
they're
bet
gonna
you he's
scrap
going to
everything.
keep his people. I bet you he's going to try and fandangle it to keep,
Yeah.
even though Peacemaker intersected with the Zack Snyder's Justice League. And
Yeah.
by Zack Snyder's Justice League, I mean like his character. So so I'm like, you can't do that. It wasn't even in a post-credit scene that they could cut out. It was in the middle of an episode.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, James Gunn. But I think
I
you're
saw
gonna
this
do that
great
the hard way.
meme that was like his wife as all the characters because.
Oh my god, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Aquaman 2 pretty much guaranteed to do well. The first Shazam has built up a following, so the sequel could do a lot better. And yes, the Flash is going to be huge.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Well, Aquaman 2, I'm sure is going to do really well because people like Jason Momoa, and the
Yeah.
I
first
would
one
argue
made $1
Aquaman 2 is
billion.
going to be the best out of the three.
Yeah, and the Flash has Keaton armor, as I call it. So it's like, I think, yeah, if all three of these make $1 billion or close to $1 billion, Gunn's going to look really stupid right about now.
Well, yeah. If you notice, nothing is really set in stone yet. I mean, he's announced it, but there's something else. You know, I think this plan has a loophole. There's a multiverse loophole in this plan.
Yeah.
And also Gunn's. He had a 4-year contract. When is the Superman film coming out? What,
Plus, here's the thing.
2025?
So he's coming up with a 10-year plan, but he's only going to be here for 4 years. That's
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
suspicious. I guarantee you, it's actually a 4-year plan. He's just saying 10 years for
Exactly.
confidence.
Yeah.
I think what he has that I think he has an outline for 10 years, but he might not be here for those 10 years.
Oh,
No.
if these movies do well and his movies tank, he won't be here.
He won't be here. He's not going to get his contract renewed. And I think I guess goes to show the lack of faith they have him. And I'm like, okay, we'll give you 4 years to prove yourself. 3 years from now, that Superman film's going to come out. Okay, that's the decision maker right there.
Mhm.
If that film's not any good, I also, if you 4 years from now is 2026, so Gunn's gonna leave when Secret Wars comes out. Um, Look, I want to start any conspiracy theories here. The timing's kind of weird.
And Pat Dan, if you market it as one film, if you say just come back for one film to wrap up your loose ends, they'll come back. Plus, they'll come back, particularly if you attach Zack Snyder to it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Well, what I was saying before is that if I was in charge of DC, and I was told, Mikey, you gotta reboot it, okay? What I would do is I would get one more Batfleck. I would get the Batfleck film. I'll get Wonder Woman 3. I'll get Man of Steel 2. Have it all end when Kingdom Come.
Yes, that's what we need.
And then have Zack Snyder direct Kingdom Come. Finish everything, and you can have the new characters in there, the new cast in there, meeting the OG cast. So you say goodbye to the past, say hello to the present time. You're passing the baton, right?
Yeah,
that's exactly how I do it.
So like a New 52 type of thing, like
exactly New 52, right?
But here's the problem with it. Here's the problem with it, because if you do what the New 52 did, because the New 52 was a complete reboot. Yeah. That's going to be jarring for the general audience because they've gotten so used to associating Henry Cavill with Superman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman especially. Yeah. So they're going to be like, what do you mean?
I thought this was funny. If you scroll down a little bit.
Reboot. Oh, yeah. Claudia, take the yeah.
There you go. That's exactly what it is.
Exactly what it is. Just finish the
story. There you go. So what do you guys think? Like that should have been it, but the New 52. If they're gonna do a New 52, and it has to be because on the new DC studio had a new logo.
Yeah.
And it had the New 52.
It's the New 52 designs, yeah. So I'm like, okay.
I'm telling you, they're going down the New 52 route, but they're going to use some stories from different comics from the.
Yeah, it'll be like a mishmash of different eras and stuff, like from James Gunn's memory banks and his own nostalgia. But I expect a lot of goofy shit.
Without Lobo, it's
without
weird.
Cyborg too. That was concerning because he used the New 52 characters, and I'm like, you do realize that Cyborg was a member of that Justice League, right?
Well,
I shouldn't share this.
One of those concerning things you ever did was tease Batmite. Like, you're trying to get the fans excited. You showed Batmite? Really?
You should have showed like Deathstroke.
Exactly.
Characters that people actually care about, because I get the feeling no one really cares about that.
No one gives a shit about that. I mean, I would put the New Gods on there, man.
Yes, I know it's a New Gods movie. You got me there.
New Gods and then take place, on Apocalypse, right? I mean, come on.
The origin for Darkseid.
I've read Lantern Corps movie.
There you go.
Something along the lines of that. They could have done something like that, but
that's
they're not doing
project you attach Jeff Johns to. The projects that he knows. Not Wonder Woman.
And Cyborg Beyond the Teen Titans. Yeah, he is.
Well, DeLuca wanted a Teen Titans film. He wanted a Titans film. But I'm pretty sure Gunn is going to do that now, and they'll be very much teenagers for sure.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We'll watch. These movies do well. At the end of 2023, let's reevaluate, because at the end of 2023, if these movies are so popular, they're gonna be like, guess what? Late April Fools.
When is Aquaman coming out? What is this, next year, right? Next year.
Yeah. All three of them are next year.
Yeah, this time next year. Yeah.
So by time next year, we will find out if these plans are solidified, because if those films do well, that throws a wrench in whatever ideas he has.
Yeah, because the whole reason why they're doing a reboot is that they think that the current iteration of the DCU can't do well. And I'm like, if it does do well, they're like, well, guess what, dudes? Right there.
I mean, Tevye, they can't do Rebirth. That's something they can't do because Rebirth, you're going to have to bring back the old cast.
Yeah.
Older characters. They can't do that. So it has to be a reboot, which is a New 52, which was younger.
Tevia just wants a rebirth so they can do the Super Sons. I'm just telling you that right now.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was saying the same thing in the last stream I was in.
yeah.
I
So
couldn't
there's-
resist.
You're gonna get a Clark Kent. It's more like Jonathan Kent now, probably.
Oh God, no!
No, that would make
No.
Tevye happier. That would make
The
Tevye
title will be
happy.
Son of Kal-El. I'm like, oh no. Yeah, that looks
Ladies and
horrible.
gentlemen, meet your Justice League.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
There you go.
God. No. No. Why, God? Why?
And
Yes,
as,
I do agree with you on this. That the Black Adam boycott
Yep,
did
it
hurt the
did.
Snyderverse.
Yeah, it did.
It
he
did.
did. He did.
So do
definitely.
not boycott. I've been saying this for so long, and Lawrence said you say this every year. I'm like, yes, because it's very important. Do not boycott these movies.
Yeah, because DeLuca was writing on this film. That's how he lost a lot of his authority. It was because, well, sorry, guy, but this film didn't do very well.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Go to the comment.
What, this one?
Yeah. I'll agree it's not a bad comic. It's a very boring comic.
It's more in a Superman story,
It's-
mind
it's a-
you.
Okay, what's the first comic you think of relating to Superman?
Also Superman.
No, in general, like in terms of any ongoing with Superman. What?
Action packed
Action.
Adventure.
Yeah.
Not him holding
yeah.
up a climate change sign while a monster's
God, no.
destroying the bay.
Oh, boring.
It's just that.
Now,
That's
Wally
not,
West Flash is likely. We'll get
That
Kevin
they
with
could
that.
do, but they're not going to do a rebirth like that. And yes, it was a train wreck. Thank you, Tevia.
yes, yeah. The Black Adam boycott was real,
Yeah, it was real.
and some fans.
But here's the
some-
thing, though. Can we also attribute that to the fact that no one knows who the hell Black Adam is?
That's why I
true.
say it should have been a JSA movie.
Yes.
But the thing is, though, is that that's true. But if enough DC fans had seen it, it would have made it enough for it to be
True.
a lot more. Not like Black Panther successful, but popular enough. We would get like at least 500 million or so. 600, where they would like, okay, where DeLuca could actually have some authority. Like, hey, look, there is a market for this after all, But now you have the Flash and you have Aquaman. Let's see how those two do. I mean, those are your two last chances there.
I mean, I think what the old regime were banking on was the Rock's fan base, which is
They were, yeah.
They were.
the
yeah,
WWE
because
fans.
remember, this was, and I mentioned it earlier, this is going back to the old regime's apparent idea. I don't know how they got this in their heads that they could replace the Justice League with Black Adam. What? What? Black Adam, the Birds of Prey. Who else? Who is a D tier character we got? Peacemaker. I'm like, what?
Well, okay. We just got bourbon the stream now because
Yeah, Bourbon stream.
bourbon
Calling it now.
stream. I
Bourbon
just
stream.
what I before all this came down, I was on Sil Abdul's stream and I said, prepare the bourbon. I said this like before the announcement of Cabal. I said prepare the bourbon because I'm hearing some things. I didn't hear about Cabal though. I guess I heard that you're gonna get what you like, and that was from DeLuca. You're gonna get what you like, and you get things that you don't like, and that was from Gunn. One of the things I heard, guys. Unfortunately, this has been pushed up now. Because we all knew a reboot was coming, right? But we thought the reboot was gonna come after Zach comes back and they finish the story. What I was hearing about the potential reboot back then was Justice League International from the 80s, where it's a comedy Justice League.
Oh no.
Hey, Mama
With the
Bear.
whole Wahaha and all that stuff. And it would not shock me if that's where that's where they go.
No, they're gonna
Because
make it all the MCU
Blue Beetle's here,
joke
man.
fest.
Blue Beetle's here already. You have Shazam from that team.
Except here's the thing: it's not Blue Beetle. It's not the Blue Beetle from that.
It's not
book,
Ted
though.
Cord. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not Ted Coates, it's
I'm a DC fan, guys.
That's true. Not moving. Yeah, I know exactly. You're really convincing me you're a Marvel fan, dude. Well done. Well done. For a Marvel fan, you seem to know a lot about DC.
Oh, yeah, Ted Cord. Yeah, I know. There wasn't enough time for him to look it up on the Wikipedia. That's too fast.
It's what I love.
I just got Look, I heard that it's gonna be like Jail Europe and Just League International from the '80s, with like Fire and Ice and those people, and
Oh, so we're going back to when the Justice League sucked.
yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
I-
isn't that why
Hi,
Doomsday
Mama Bear.
killed Superman? Because the Justice League was made with a bunch of D-listers instead of Superman. And even Grant Morrison, when he got on the book, was like, "What are you doing? Why aren't our top characters on our premier team?"
Well, I remember friends of mine back then. He goes, "That's not the Justice League. Who are these people?"
Exactly. Like, who the hell is? Why do I care about Metamorpho?
Yeah, I know.
Fire and Ice. Oh,
What?
give me a freaking break.
Who's that Fox character in there? That girl, like Fox something. I can't remember her name was. Like,
Vixen?
That's
like,
the
who
answer.
is this? Yeah.
She's been on the Justice League, but you can't leave out Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, and Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter was Bloodwind, so I guess he was kind of in there. So
Well, let's
Oh
get deep.
God, no, no, Jake,
Let's get deeper. Might as well bring out the Detroit Justice League, right?
Oh,
with like
gosh.
Vibe and
no, no.
Vibe and Aquaman. Who
Oh,
else would
wait.
get in there?
They'll make a movie about the Justice League from the Bizarro universe.
Oh, there you go. There you
Oh,
go.
no. This is gonna be really fun. We eating good as DC fans.
Oh boy,
Oh my
this
gosh.
is a mess. This is a mess, and you can thank James Gunn for that.
Thank you, James Gunn.
I mean, we could have had a Batfleck film. We could have had a Henry Cavill Superman film with Cyborg and Sasha Calle Supergirl.
And they're gonna continue on with it. Blue Beetle's gonna be part of his new plan. So that's why I'm thinking, oh my god, what if they really do Justice League International, and you have some of the characters there already. Have Jon Stewart replace Guy Gardner, and everybody's cracking jokes and one-liners and everything.
The whole
Well,
episode is 16 hours and 47
And
minutes.
This is
And
gonna be
that's just
really
the
interesting.
beginning of the
Might as well throw a
extent
Peacemaker in there.
Yeah, I know. Peacemaker will be the leader of the Justice League.
Oh
He'll
god,
be
no.
making passes at Wonder Woman constantly.
that one.
and Supergirl Coy says fire James Gunn, of course. That everyone's been saying that for the last 3 days, guys.
3 days on Twitter. So
Oh wow,
3
still
days
still trending, huh? Wow.
23.6 thousand tweets. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh my god, wow.
That's a big yikes. If it's been
It's
trending
just gonna get worse when he's gonna reveal more of the slate coming up, so it's gonna get worse.
if it lasts for this long, I think WBD will be looking at that as well.
Well, when their stocks keep dropping as they are,
Yeah, because it took a tumble after the Cavill announcement, like a massive tumble.
keep it tumbling.
It took a tumble harder than the Justice League did fighting Doomsday and the death of Superman.
And keeping Fire James Gunn trending, Batman says.
I wanted to say hello to Mama Bear. She's also coming in the comic book as well. Hello,
Yeah,
Mama Bear.
Mama Bear's a great artist. Make sure you guys do check her out.
Amazing.
Amazing people.
Would you
I'm
put your
looking at
money on
this
this?
great meme. Hey, Taladia, share my screen after J Heat.
Okay. With the series conclusion.
0
What?
out of 10.
Wow.
Taladia, share my
-1.
screen.
Oh my god, it's hilarious. Holy shit. Oh my god.
Right? That's what we're getting.
Bravo, bravo.
That's painfully accurate.
We'll have the Indian Aquaman, exactly.
Supergirl Core is actually Mama Bear's in Dreamwalker.
Yeah, she's in there. Yeah.
Yep.
And Corey's gonna be in
Tevye,
there as well.
Look at Tevye,
So.
what the F is that?
Corey, you've been confirmed for Dreamwalker. Perfect.
Lawrence, what the heck did I just see?
Was that a Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, that's the Big Bang
Yeah.
Theory when they dress as the Justice League for a Halloween party.
I remember that episode.
Oh yeah, that was her Guardians for sure. I'm pretty sure.
Did you know Penny from that show went out with Henry Cavill?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's
Wow.
crazy.
So she went from that guy in Big Bang Theory to Henry Cavill.
She went from him.
Dude.
She went from a mild mannered
What did Leonard
physicist
do
to
to
the
you?
Kryptonian god.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Seriously, like really?
But the Batman. This is the Justice League horror movie. Oh god, this is great.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory might be more entertaining.
Super
Yeah.
Grosso, it's such an honor to be a part of Dreamwalker.
Yeah, Corey is reporter in coming in the comic book. I think it'd be a perfect mild
So
mannered reporter.
I'm a computer expert and he's a.
You're the hacker. You're the hacker. I needed a hacker. And then when I first saw you with that, on your head there, your headphone and everything, like it's like a hacker. And then that little symbol behind you, I'm like, okay, I got my hacker because I wanted a hacker in the book.
By the way, did you guys also see that comicbook.com is publishing an article that says DC fans asking Warner Brothers to put Zack Snyder in charge after DCU cancellations? I believe this is in the legit trades now. Yeah, this ain't good.
Batman's asking if Gunn's gonna be in Dreamwalker.
Oh gosh.
No.
He'll be the character he'll be a super villain that's like super weak and they just pipsqueak around.
Let's just say I'm gonna be throwing some shade. There's some shade coming. Let's put it that way.
Wait, hey Retro Nerd Girl, I got another one. Taladia, share my screen. This is the James Gunn.
Yeah. Retro Nerd Girl is a collector in Dreamwalker.
So I give you
That's
the
hilarious.
DC community to James Gunn.
Hey, Retro Nerd Girl, you're the one who is grading socks to socks. Like a 9.8
She
SGC.
gets the socks and she's like, no, there's fraying on the edges. Like I break.
Yeah, exactly.
A couple of things. That's so
Okay.
good.
Um,
Thank you,
Nippers
Empress.
Spider to you.
That would actually be a killer appointment.
the 2-inch blood
Can
stain.
you imagine in a world in the multiverse that Zack Snyder becomes the new head of DC? Can you imagine the anti-Snyders like collective heads explosion? He's now in charge, baby. It's our turn now.
I have to say, I'm pretty excited about their other projects. Like, I'm not familiar with Warhammer, but that sounds kick-ass to me. Like Warhammer, Cavill.
I'm not as familiar. I mean, I have a few of the guys that painted, but yeah, if there's anything attached to Henry Cavill that's geek, watch.
Right? And so, and he's like executive producer or something. I mean, he's really involved in the show.
He's got creative control.
Yeah, creative control. So I'm like, I'm more excited about Rebel Moon than Warhammer than I am with fucking, a Batman.
Yeah.
Here's another interesting. This is the Jared Show's meme show. So Henry Cavill is 39, but too old to play a younger Superman. Robert Pattinson is 36, but younger enough to play two Batmen. To play a year or two Batman. Exactly. That's why I'm not buying James Gunn's little excuse. No, it was just because he's too old. Oh, BS, dude.
He basically wants Superboy, is what it is. And it's like, okay,
They
if you
make a
guys want
Superboy movie with Henry Cavill, that's fine.
Yeah, you Smallville season 11. It's
Yeah,
not Smallville ended with him going to Metropolis, right? There you go. There's your sequel right here. with Austin Butler.
The one thing I will say, it's never a dull moment being a DC fan, eh?
No, never. I mean,
Laura.
Oh my
He wasn't
gosh.
funny.
Have you noticed how every week in the DC fan base, it's another the sky is falling moment.
Oh God, every day the sky's falling in DC. I've never seen a bait and switch this bad ever in any production, Hollywood ever. Like, okay, we promise you this, but we're gonna take it away from you now. Can you imagine Marvel Studios saying, "Okay, we're gonna keep Charlie Cox. We're gonna recast him now."
Yeah.
I just see what you posted.
Here's an accurate description right there. Burning DC to the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Hold
my
on,
gosh.
guys.
Right. While we wait for Mikey, guys, I will be putting a link in the chat. If any of you guys in the chat want to partake in the stream to be a guest, we don't mind having you on. We're gonna have one or two people on, and you guys can have your say
Okay.
to be a part on.
All
Tevia,
at once.
yeah, the Superman family doesn't work all the time in the general audience. So I get that it was a good comic book, but it wouldn't work in the movies, particularly for the time
And no,
period
Tevia, not for you.
particularly in the time period that they go out that they want to do.
I wouldn't be surprised to see more controversial changes to these
Well, let me put it this way.
characters.
I think that the minute they actually confirm that Gal Gadot is not Wonder Woman, that's when the fans riot.
Oh yeah. Well, she's got
Oh my
millions
gosh.
and millions of passionate fans out there.
And you're gonna piss off a bunch of little girls, and
God, yeah.
the group of people you don't piss off is women.
No, you don't.
You know,
You don't.
Gal
They're the
was
most vocal.
Gal was the most perfect role for that role for
Oh my
Wonder Woman.
gosh.
Oh,
I was
hard to cast.
I was a little suspicious at first, but the part that sold me is in BVS when she turns to Bruce and goes, "I don't think you've ever known a woman like me," and I'm like, "That's Wonder Woman." Thank you, thank you, Zack Snyder.
Hey, I gotta get going, guys. But so much fun being here with all of you. You guys are great. You guys are great co-hosts. I
Thank
feel
you.
very welcome
And
here.
You're
I'll be
more
back.
welcome.
I'll be back definitely. I'll be back. You know?
I'll be
Yeah,
back.
you're more than welcome to join us. Just before we go, Mikey, we got
Yeah.
Zod in the chat.
Hey, Zod.
Hey guys, hey,
My
What's up?
character is here. My character.
I just I just wanted to stop by and say hello to everybody on the panel. You guys are awesome. You guys are
Thank you.
Thank you.
bringing up
Thank
a lot of great stuff, asking Mikey all the right questions. It's really nice to see. But you got a mod in your chat that keeps timing people out for no reason, and I think you need to reevaluate that.
I'll change that.
You're
in the
slipping,
Nightbot
Taladia.
setting.
You're slipping.
That's the Nightbot settings. I'll have to fix that after the stream. But Mikey, we know you got a busy schedule.
Yeah. I got a Dreamwalker schedule. I'm finishing issue 3, and I'm having a ball writing Zod's first appearance.
Mikey, I can't believe, I cannot believe that you said that submarine song from the Candy Skins was an inspiration for Dreamwalker. I was blown away when I heard that because
really? Okay.
It's like you and I, we seem to be bonding over music and like everything that you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's like oh my god, Mikey knew about them too. Like it's insane to me.
Oh man, I have that video on VHS tape when it was first shown, from '91, dude, and that line stuck out with me the first time I heard it. I'm like,
Mikey, I shared the music video in Savage Bat's
oh, you did? That's awesome.
For everybody so that they know that that's the song, because I was just like, that's incredible, man.
I mean,
it makes perfect sense too.
And I walk through your dreams. You know?
Yes, I walk through your dreams. Yes.
That's where it came from. I mean, it's funny where these ideas come from, right? And it's just like you hear certain things, like it triggers something in your imagination. And I was like, what if I can walk through people's dreams? I'm like, but guys, it's been a blast.
You're more than welcome to come on again on another stream, Mikey.
Oh yeah, I would love to, man. I'd love to. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Schedule's kind of crazy lately, but I really
understand
had fun.
totally. And don't worry, anything I find for DC games or anything, I'll make sure to send it your way for Geekosity. And guys, before Mikey does go, make sure you guys do check out Geekosity as YouTube.
Absolutely.
Links in the description. So
thank you.
So make sure you support that.
And Mama Bear, gonna have a lot of fun writing your character because you're the collector of the Dreamwalker universe.
No, also says IT department's waiting for your update.
Yeah. Okay, I'll meet with them. So anyway, take care. I'll be around. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Mikey. Take care.
See you guys.
See you, Mikey.
See ya.
And we have on the show Back Down Thoughts. And we've got Tevia as well.
Hello.
What's up, Tev?
What we discussed today, what you guys thought about Dreamwalker, everything like we discussed.
I bought the Masters of the Instruments in New York. It sucks. I want to have an instrument because this flows. Because remember, Zack Stein tried to get him to my boy John and Shoeboy.
No, we're not gonna get that heavier.
That's close, but no.
No, we were not that
Let him
close.
finish. Let him get out of his system.
Yeah, of
Let
course.
Tevye
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah.
There's something scratch. Why? For what? Because of reasons? I don't get it. Not fair.
And we were not that. There's no information on if we were close of getting the Superman family. I got news for you, dude.
And
I
Noel,
know
thanks
that,
for
but I
coming into
agree.
the stream as well. I want to say thank you as well.
But
And
I vote Dreamwalker. Congratulations on your project. Congratulations, Dreamwalker is a success.
yes, that's awesome. So,
I'm glad you're doing well.
Tevye, thank you for coming in. We got somebody else.
Yeah.
So, just gonna remove him. And let's. Zodrider, got anything you want to say about that as well?
Guys, I just wanted to say thanks a lot to Ladia. This was a great stream, man. I mean, you guys
Dude, I wanted
knocked
you
it out
on.
of the park, man.
I agree. I'd have to agree.
I mean,
We are
I
awesome.
mean, one of these days, Zodrider, I'm gonna get you on my channel for a proper interview.
Oh yeah,
Talking
more
about your book.
yeah, no problem. That would be a lot of fun. Hey, but this has
Talking
been
about the
great. This has been
Snyderverse.
great though. You guys are awesome. I mean, wow.
I mean, we want to get you on my channel. We're talking about your book. We're talking about the Snyderverse, and I know Jared's a big Snyderverse fan, so he'll have tons of questions for you.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, currently the book I'm in the process of retooling the book due to all of the things that have changed. So I've got a lot of rewrites and things I got to do. So I'll be doing that in January, but I'm taking a break right now. And yeah, I mean, thanks again to Ladia for doing this great stream, man.
It's
no
actually
problem.
good
Like, I
that
wanted
you're
to get
taking a-
Mikey on. I wanted to get Mikey on. I wanted to talk about Dreamwalker. I wanted to get you guys involved on this action as well. Batdan, you got any things you want to say? Batdan?
Batdan, can you hear us?
Batdan?
I'm having some connection issues.
Okay.
I'm having some
Okay,
connection
let's
issues.
Let's get
I'll
Lawrence.
restart.
What's up, Lawrence?
Hey, what's
Lawrence?
up?
How's it going, man?
Yeah. What's up? I'm
How's
doing
it
good.
going?
How are you?
What do you thought of today's stream? What do you think about the Mikeyverse, the Dreamwalker, to
All the Snyderverse stuff we talked about.
Yeah, I like the Dreamwalker idea, but I agree with Gerald. We still support the movie that's coming out this year,
Yes.
Yes.
but they have a better
Zodrider, I appreciate you coming on the panel as well. I'm super appreciative for everyone that's coming on this panel, having your guys say on this stuff, because normally it'd just be the three of us, me and the two knuckleheads. So we normally
I have a trident, so I rule Atlantis, bro. So
no, but you know what I mean.
King Knucklehead to
And-
you.
No, this is my channel.
I own a trident.
This is my channel. So anyway, Lawrence, as you were saying,
Yeah, I think James Dunn needs to be fired at this point.
yeah, James Gunn needs to be fired, and we got Batman back, so we're just waiting for him to sing. There we go. Batman, are you back? Batman?
Let's see. I think I'm back. I think someone just closing and reopening the browser. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What do you think of today's
Okay.
stream? What do you think? And
That I'm way more
Dreamwalker-
excited for Dreamwalker than I am DC. I'll say that. Dreamwalker.
We all are,
actually-
dude. We all are.
We all are
Yeah.
excited
I
for
could-
Dreamwalker.
Like what Mikey's doing is great. He's interested in telling a story, and being included in the comic book. Or I know that I'm also going to be in this thing too. So I'm really excited, and it just there's so much great stuff coming up with the Mikeyverse. There's a lot to be excited for, and I can't wait. And some of the stuff Mikey said about his inspiration with the song, I thought was really interesting. I didn't even know that. And I've been following Mikey Sutton a long time now.
Yeah, I thought when Mikey included me in the book, into the comic, I was surprised more than anything. Now he's got my likeness and he's got my logo, and I'm just like, what? That's crazy.
Congratulations, man. You've definitely earned it. What you were saying about Dan?
Yeah, just saying, like, it's just really great stuff what Mikey's doing, because truth is, if it wasn't for Dreamwalker, like, DC's really depressed me this past week. I'm just gonna be honest. It has. I think some of the worst decisions with Warner Brothers have ever been made. I'll put it like this: with Zaslav being cheap, it's like being cheap on a car repair, right?
Second-hand car dealer.
You know, exactly. You go cheap on it, and then your car breaks down, and then you're wishing, man, I wish I just paid more money for the repair. So,
plus you're being cheap on the points of the universe that universally people like. Henry Cavill's not controversial as Superman.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yes, he would cost more, but he would make more money. You know, because the problem is, regardless of the excuses behind it, beyond like before yada yada yada, Henry Cavill's announcement, I'm like, no, the company made a decision. The company has to stick with it one way or another.
I agree.
Well, I think they'll change their minds at some point because of the backlash that's coming in. I guarantee you that's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And Zod Rider, when you get the time when your book comes out, you'll be on my channel. We're gonna ask you questions about your book, and these knuckleheads, we'll be talking about this. And I'm sure we want to get back down and involved in that as well, if he's willing to hop on as a special guest panelist to ask Zod Rider about his book. So, we appreciate everyone that was here. We've got a couple of things. Let's talk about the DC games.
Okay.
Because that's the last thing we're going to be talking about, and then we're going to do our outros. So DC games doesn't look bright, as of late.
No.
So
unfortunately.
And I will just go ahead and say this: Gotham Knight should have been the Arkhamverse sequel, because everything's there. You have Batman's
pretty much
death. You have the Bat family rising up to defend the city. Everything's there. Whereas you have the Suicide Squad video game, which is a delayed version of a tie-in for one of the movies. I'm pretty sure it's the 2016 one, if I remember correctly. # released the Ayer cut. But to make it a long story short, they should have just had Gotham Knight be the Arkhamverse sequel.
Because also, when you think about it, if it had been an Arkham Knight sequel, Gotham Knights would have been a nice little conclusion to Jason Todd's arc.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Everything was there.
Tevia says the question is, will we ever get a Superman game?
Unlikely.
It's 50-50. It's 50-50, I'd say. 50-50. Depending on what my sources are saying on that. I'll have to find out from them. But guys, like the whole Suicide Squad game, I'm really excited for it because it's the next thing coming. I think Gotham Knights was a dud game price in sales as well. Because it had a reduction in price the week after its release. So I'm just like, okay, that says it all. So,
$60 for base gameplay.
Yeah, $60.
Nothing for DLC.
Nothing for DLC. Yeah, and the DLC is $20. So, and that doesn't.
At least if you made Batman playable as a pre-order, you would have gotten at least something out of it.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, before I go, you guys got outros, so we're gonna let you guys do your outros. What you got coming up, Jared from Comics League?
Well, let's see. I got this week. I'm reviewing my artist Dawson's other comic book, Savage, and then still thinking about what I want to do for tomorrow's video. But I will be so. Followers of the channel know that I recently released a sort of a fan edit that was the Justice League versus Homelander from The Boys. Now, to announce here that I'm going to turn it into a feature-length movie. In other words, I'm going to make a Justice League versus the Seven movie using clips from like Zack Snyder's Justice League, Man of Steel, BVS, and The Boys. So that's going to be a massive project that's going to come out when it's good, which I probably some point in December that should be out. And then in terms of as a video, I'm probably going to do another video talking about the DCU and telling people to watch the next 3 movies. I can't emphasize that enough. So that's all from me. Stay heroic.
Okay, and Jay Heat, what have you got coming up?
Well, mostly I'm continuing my playlist. I've actually started on Jedi Knight recently, and I'm also starting a podcast series because I definitely want to check that off my list before the new year. Hopefully, I can get you guys on that. And all in all, I just wish everyone a happy new year. Hopefully, we can at least make something decent out of this mess. But happy holidays, everyone, and I wish you all stay blessed.
And guys, as for me, your boy Taladia Plays, I put in the chat my Twitter. And don't forget Avatar collab. Yes, we won't forget about that, Nick.
Yeah, I'm coming, Nick.
And for the podcast, make sure to check out Inside the Multiverse, a DC Comics podcast I do every 2 weeks with my co-host DC Comics Gamer. It's a great podcast. We talk about everything in DC, from video games, movies, TV shows, you name it, all's in there. And also check me out on Twitter, TikTok, and my Twitch. Links in the chat. So thanks for watching, everyone. Happy holidays to you all. I don't know if I will be on next week. I may not. I might take off next weekend. Depends, 50-50. And then I'll probably be back for Boxing Day or something like that. We'll do something special with the boys and having these guys on. And Lawrence, anything final words you want to say before I?
And Dave the Impaler has a good comment right there. You should highlight. At least we have the 2023 movies to look forward to. Plans can certainly change. So
yeah,
be optimistic about those next 3 movies and watch them.
Yes. And
I will be seeing these movies multiple times.
Yeah. Lawrence, you got anything last to say before I do the outro?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be supporting the 2023 DC movie. I'm probably going to make a Power Ranger theory video for the 30th anniversary.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely tune into that.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
With that being said, I've been your host, Taladia Plays. That has been the boys, and also my panels and the guests. And thanks to everyone that was watching. Thank you. Happy holidays to all of you guys in the chat. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys.
Excelsior.
See you guys in the next stream.